but number two, Freddy's Revenge. It's Freddy's Revenge. It to me is the most non-canon sequel. It's not bad. It's not bad. But it's kind of its own thing. The character of Jesse is actually pretty interesting because it's he's a well-written character, but and they kind of sort of dovetail the first movie into second movie by Jesse finding Nancy's journal.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that works.
Yeah.
And the special effects are great.
They are.
But this movie, it's still good.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is a bad sequel. A lot of people ignore this one because of 3.
Yeah.
I love 3. 3 is one of my favorite sequels of all time. We'll get to 3. We'll get to Dream Warriors. But I do think that 2 does get a bad rap.
It does.
You can make all the jokes about Freddy being defeated by the power of love, because that's basically what happens. The girlfriend.
That's the power of love.
Once Freddy comes out of Jesse, a la Cronenberg style,
pretty much
like a chest burster, basically, and takes over Freddy and takes over Jesse's body, which they do a lot of really cool psychological stuff with.
They do.
There's some great special effects.
There are.
Music is actually pretty good. As much as the first had iconic music, this one has a very eerie quality, and it's still very much a horror film. But I think in terms of a follow-up to Nightmare on Elm Street, it kind of feels like its own thing.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add about?
Well, when I first saw this as a teenager, I didn't like it at first, but then eventually, years later, rewatching it, with my friends, I'm thinking, maybe this film was not. I was a little bit too harsh at it. And over the years, I've sort of grown on it. It's not my favorite, but it's a film that I like it, but I don't love it. It's just okay. It's not my favorite, but it's decent. I could take it or leave it.
I had the same experience. But because I watched all 8, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I had the same experience. I was like, okay, this is the one that I don't remember liking that much.
Same.
Surprisingly, I liked it. It was. I remember this being a lot worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't understand the hate on it. It's a weak follow-up for sure, but it's not a bad movie.
It's not. But it is around the time when it came out, it wasn't well received, and also people did not gravitate towards the gay themes it has in this. Even I was shocked with that too. I mean, this had been rare for the time.
People talk about that. And I really didn't want to get into the whole documentary on it because it's
no, of course not.
But I don't know. When I watched those scenes, the supposed gay scenes, I didn't see it.
Right?
Yeah. The gym teacher goes to an S&M club, but that more ties into this is a trait of the character. This is something Freddy would do. He would take your traits or the things that make you a character or your fears or whatever, and make those your nightmares.
Right.
So it makes sense that some sort of gym teacher related thing that kind of dovetails into his forbidden kind of thing with the gym.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think people fixate on that way too much.
You could explain he was exploring
in terms of
fantasies, I guess.
In terms of, I have to say the actor who played Jesse, his scream is one of the best screams I've ever heard. He is a great screamer. When you hear that scream, it's man, it's terror. And he's a good actor.
He was okay.
I mean, like I say, for all its bluster, for all its for as much as people like to crap on it, I don't think it deserves as much heat.
No, of course not. It's not perfect or great. It's just okay. I think it's a film that you watch on a first viewing, you might not like or appreciate, but then maybe on more viewings and you watch the documentaries about the making of this film, you might appreciate it a little bit more when you research it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it depends on how you want to view it.
Yeah, but that's just our 2 cents.
Yeah. Like I said, when I first saw it, it surprised me with the gay theme. I'm like, wow, that had to be like risque for its time.
Yeah, same here. I was expecting to go into it, rewatching it, hating it,
right,
just liking it. I'm going, it's not really that bad. There's some
it's not
elements to it.
Yeah, it does. It kind of grows on you as time goes on a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing about time. Sometimes it's better to rewatch something because I've not to get off sidetracked here, but I have literally seen movies that on the first viewing I've hated,
right?
And years later I go back to it, I love it.
Same.
I don't know. It's just this weird.
It happens.
Flip.
It happens.
But
like I said, this is a film I watched here and there on occasion. I don't watch it a lot, just maybe on a rare.
Right. Exactly.
And I agree. And I agree with you said earlier. This is basically like a standalone film where it's not. I mean, it's a follow-up.
Yeah, it doesn't. It tries to be a follow-up, but it's very standalone. It doesn't really feel like. It feels like someone was like, "Okay, we need a sequel. What are we going to do?" Like,
I'll admit, I was a little upset that Heather Langenkamp didn't come back as Nancy. I was missing her when I watched this movie.
Well,
that's just me.
When we get to the next film, we're going to have to talk about this.
Yes.
Anyway, is there anything you want to talk about too?
Well, I agree with you. It's definitely very like David Cronenberg style. This is how David Cronenberg would have made a Nightmare on Elm Street film, like when Freddy comes out of Jesse's body.
Yeah, and very body horror. It
is
a lot of
and more on the psychological side than
and like I said, those are the things it does right.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the opening scene, like where the bus driving scene.
The bus driver.
It was Robert Englund out of Memphis, right?
Yeah, that's the thing about all these films. Robert Englund is not the problem in all these.
No.
Robert Englund, God bless him, through all 8 films, he is consistently good as Freddy. There's not a weaker moment with Freddy. Matter of fact, he kind of, over time, kind of takes the spotlight.
Right.
Where you kind of sort of watch the movies for him. But it's not to discount anybody,
Right. And plus, like, we're talking about Mark Patton as Jesse. He's basically established as the first male scream queen in this movie.
Yeah, I guess so. He definitely lives up to the name of Scream Queen.
Right. It's actually the only time in the series where the lead character is a male, because throughout the rest of the series, it's always the female that's the main character.
Yeah, that's
the lead.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of realization. He is the male protagonist, the main male protagonist, the final man, if you will.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. And also, like, let's see here. I'm just rambling through my notes. And
give them a minute, folks.
Even though it's not really said, but it's definitely hinted that Jesse is gay. No, he doesn't say, but throughout the film, you just get that sense and notion that Jesse is gay.
I guess
somewhat.
I don't see it. I don't see it because the entire plot hinders around a hetero relationship.
Right.
And then basically, a love of a woman is the thing that saves his life.
Yes.
Basically. Yes. But that's just me. Listen, people can think whatever they want about the film.
Right.
I like the film for what it is.
Right. And I don't know. The way I see it at the time, like if someone at that time was gay and hiding in the closet, they dated one because there wasn't much of a choice for them at the time. That's how you want to look at it, but
yes. Like I said, people are entitled to their own opinions. But,
Mark Patton, the actor who played Jesse, is gay in real life. Around the time when this movie came out, it was not the most positive experience for him. It hindered his acting career, and he left acting for a while. But since then, in later years, he's made peace with this movie. David Chaskin, who wrote this movie, is also gay in real life, too. And he's admitted in an interview that it was his idea to add the gay subtext to this movie. What did you think of What did you think of the part when Jesse was cleaning his room, kind of like Risky Business style?
It's a goofy scene.
Right, exactly. Like it's intentionally supposed to be stupid when his dad is like telling him, clean your room, and he does, and he's like dancing.
Right. It's a goofy like 80s scene, and
pretty much
people looking way too much into it. It's just, I don't see it.
Right.
I don't see it, and that's not like that's not like some form of like blindness to it.
Right.
Don't really see it. I'm pretty innocent to see it, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway.
I guess
you want to cover.
There is a minor complaint. You don't see Freddy that much in the film up until like the end, and he doesn't.
Yeah, it's very much, and this is the thing it does right. It builds tension into, okay, when is Freddy going to show up? How is Freddy going to show up?
Right.
All the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, how that, believe it or not, Robert Englund he didn't want to reprise the role because he was asking for a lot of money by New Line. They basically, supposedly, like in certain scenes, Robert Englund's not in the film as Freddy, and once they had a stuntman doing certain parts, and again, his dialogue was
I never noticed that, but movie.
No, I never would have guessed that in certain shots, Robert Englund is not in the film as Freddy. He was a stuntman in certain scenes. But I'm not sure which ones though.
Right. Interesting.
Because when they saw the stuntman, like again doing the acting, like let's bring back Robert. Let's pay him whatever he wants.
Right. Exactly. Money talks. Money talks.
Right.
Anything you want to add? Anything at all?
Let's see. Let me just. Oh yeah, he doesn't kill anybody in the dream world, Freddy.
Right.
And it also remember the pool party scene.
Right.
Some guys like, calm down, dude. Like, don't tell Freddy to calm down, and don't try to negotiate with Freddy Krueger.
Exactly.
Yeah. What did you think of?
I do like the pool party scene. I do think that was a cool line. You are all my children now. That kind of.
Right. What did you think of his friend Grady, Ron Grady?
I think he's a good supporting character.
Yeah.
I think he was written competently. Kind of a not necessarily a dumb jock, but
not a stereotypical.
But I think he was written competent.
Right. It's sort of like sometimes he's friend at first he was a bully, but then he becomes friends with Jesse. But there are moments where I kind of found him annoying at times, like when they're in the cafeteria, he's like eating, goes, "You want to see a movie?" I go, "Boy," it's like, dude.
Well, that's comedy though. That's
right. I know I'm reading too much into it, but I get it though. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to talk about 3?
Let's see.
Just checking his notes.
Just checking your notes.
Crossing the T's off the I's.
Here's an original concept.
Sticking with us for as long as you are.
Here's an original concept they had for this film: that a new family moved into the house. A teenage boy, his mother is pregnant. His stepfather, the boy didn't get along with. It was a real bloody scare idea, much more physical and realistic because the dream reality stuff was less central to these movies. And it's like, okay, it's like that's interesting, but it's like, like that could have gone either way.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
But like I said, we're going to talk about some of the movies. We're going to talk about basically what they could have done. When we get to Freddy and Jason, we're going to be talking about
I guess
series, what they could do, and all this stuff.
Right. I guess at this point now we can move on to part 3.